Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
It's so exciting to be here, and I want to thank you really from the bottom of my heart because you've expanded the consciousness for me, for my family, for the community in a huge way. So,
all right, we thank you for allowing us to be a reflection of what you already knew to be true.
Yeah, thank you. I've got a couple of questions today.
Yes.
One of them is I'm totally determined to be on that train of the highest frequency.
Totally?
Yes.
All right.
So
Yes.
I guess I want a confirmation that yes, I'm on that train, and since the trains are leaving the track.
All right, then go ahead and give yourself confirmation.
Yes. Okay, I do. I do. Thank you.
And should you discover, as you move forward in your excitement, that there are moments that are not compatible with the vibration of the train you wish to be on, that will be your wake-up call at that moment to switch tracks.
Right. Well, that's the segue to the next question. Because,
oh, how synchronistic.
Yeah. Because as I'm really intending to embody my true self,
yes.
I'm noticing the places where I'm not in my true
Very
self.
good. That's the whole point.
Right.
You see, excitement is a complete kit and contains with it the driving energy and the organizing principle and the spotlight.
Right.
So that as you act on your excitement, anything within you as a belief system or a definition that is out of alignment with that vibration of excitement will be brought to your attention, will be spotlighted, so that you can deal with it and transform it and add that energy to your overall excitement. That's part of its job. That's part of its function, is to call out the things that are not vibrationally harmonious with that excitement.
Right. Well, I feel kind of stuck in that because it's
stuck?
It's a visceral, cellular feeling that fills me and
yes.
it takes over, and so
takes over.
Yes. So
yes.
I would love.
In what way do you feel stuck? Can you be more specific about the experience?
Well, feeling a victim, for example.
Well, why do you choose to believe that you are? Well, how do you define yourself? What do you get out of defining yourself as a victim? How does that work for you?
Well, it doesn't.
And don't say it doesn't, because you don't do, none of you do anything you don't believe works for you. So if you are being a victim, it's because there is a belief, conscious or unconscious within you, that somehow being a victim works for you. Because if you truly, truly, truly knew it didn't, you wouldn't choose that belief, and you wouldn't have that feeling. Because remember, all feelings come from something you already define as true. And the only reason you choose something that you don't really prefer, but keep choosing it anyway, is because you have attached a belief to your mechanism of motivation that says that is the actual best choice in comparison to the alternative. Even though you know the alternative might actually be what you prefer, obviously that must mean that you have a belief attached to that that makes it actually seem to be the lesser choice.
Right.
So you have to find out what kind of a belief or what kind of a definition would you attach to your motivational mechanism to make being a victim seem to actually be the more beneficial choice. So what might some of those definitions be?
Well, for example, I have a tendency to smooth.
You have a what?
Well,
You have a what?
Well, I said tendency.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You are making choices. You don't have tendencies, you don't have habits, and you don't have patterns once you know you have them. A habit, a tendency, a pattern is something you do that you don't know you're doing. Once you know what's there, it's not a tendency, it's not a pattern, it's not a habit, it's a choice if you keep doing it.
Right, you're right.
And your definition of a pattern, your definition of a tendency, your definition of a habit is what allows you to keep blaming the habit for continuing to do the same thing. Because your definition of a habit has been that once you discover you have the habit, there now has to be some special process you need to go through to let the habit go. When in fact, the discovery of the habit is the end of the process. The habit's gone once you realize it's there.
But it's still there.
Because you're choosing it to be there. That's what we're saying. What we're saying is the fact that you keep doing it is no longer the product of habitual behavior. It's the product of choosing it because you have a belief that says that's the beneficial thing to do.
I understand.
And now it gives you an opportunity, once you bring it into conscious recognition, gives you an opportunity to explore what that belief must be and why you think that belief serves you. And to thus then choose an alternative if that's what you really prefer. But in order to choose the alternative, you have to identify what the definition is now that's making you continue to choose the thing you say you don't prefer as if it were the thing you did.
Right.
So again, what would you be getting out of the experience of victimization that would make you to continue to choose it? Sometimes, I'm not saying this is the case, sometimes it can be as simple as choosing something that is more familiar than what is unknown to you, because you've attached a definition to the unknown that makes the unknown seem scarier than the thing you don't prefer, because the thing you don't prefer is more comfortable and more familiar. And that might be enough to allow you to keep choosing the thing you don't prefer, because you're so afraid to choose what you don't know.
That's accurate.
All right. Then allow yourself to understand that you can change the definition of the unknown. Because there is absolutely, I guarantee you, there's absolutely nothing you will ever discover in the unknown that isn't simply more of yourself. You're the only thing that inhabits the unknown. That's it. So if you're afraid of yourself, you won't go there. But if you're not afraid to be who you really are, you will go into the unknown with open arms, knowing that the unknown is nothing more than an exciting adventure of discovery of more of who you are. So when you define it that way and know that that's the definition, that's true for you, you will then switch the priorities, and you will see that going into the unknown isn't scary, it's actually more beneficial, and you will move forward by acting on your excitement, and no longer will you experience the idea of being a victim.
Yes.
And again, to add one more dimension to this concept that we have called the 13th step, when you make that shift, you actually do become a different person. So it's not even that you become someone who no longer plays the victim game. You actually become someone who never did. You have a completely new history. The past is created from the present, not the other way around. When you become a truly new person, by definition, from a linear perspective, if you're really a different person, you have to have a different history that made you who you are today. So when you choose to shift to become the person you prefer to be, that person has a completely different timeline path, and that person never experienced what the person that was here a moment ago experienced. Because she's no longer here. You are. Make sense?
That is so awesome. Yes.
It
does
is.
Make sense.
Yes. There is some awe in it, yes. But we prefer to know that it is full of awe, making it awful.
Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes, tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one other quick question.
All right. Time's up. Oh, you said it was quick. Taking you at your word. By all means, simply ask your question.
I've had a phenomenon that's happened to me throughout the years that has been frightening to me, and I'm hoping that you can shed some light on it. It happens at night when I'm in bed.
Yes.
Usually when I'm alone in bed, where I feel like I'm being taken out of my body and spun out the window and out.
Why is that frightening? It sounds exciting to us.
I mean, in some ways
Do you not
it is,
simply
but
recognize it as part of the process of how you shift dimensionalities and how others may be helping you and guiding you in shifting from one dimension to another, and that there may be symptoms that go along with it, but so what?
it feels like I get frightened when I realize it happens, and I drop back into my
But
bed.
you get frightened because of the definition you give it in terms of what you think is happening. You create a definition that makes that experience be experienced by you as being out of control. Why not simply define it as you're the one in control? It's similar to the idea we have shared with others on your planet who say they have a fear of flying. And when they hit turbulence in an airplane, they become terrified. Well, one suggestion is while you're sitting in your seat with your hands firmly on the arms of the chair, imagine you are the one flying the plane, and that all these dips and bumps are something you're doing deliberately. Deliberately. So when you feel the idea of the paralysis or the spinning or the shifting or the lightheadedness or the expansion into another dimensional plane, you're the one choosing to have that deliberately. You're the one calling the shots. The others are just guiding you, keeping you in the hallway, so to speak, but you're the one calling the shots. So if you want to change the experience, redefine the experience as being in your control, not out of it. And then you will have more of an experience that you're the one creating those sensations. And as soon as you choose that, the sensations in all likelihood will actually diminish to some degree. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Does this help you?
Very much so.
Then pleasant dreams to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bashar.
Yes.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I too have two questions.
I too have two. All right.
The first one is, how do we bilocate, teleport? How do we bring our physical body along with our consciousness when we travel to other places on Earth or other places off Earth?
That's number one.
That's number one.
All right. What's number two?
Number two is, I'm trying to remember this. So many people are talking about more and more natural disasters in the financial paradigm, the dollar plummeting, the yen plummeting. What is your take on all that stuff happening? And
to some degree, we have already discussed this.
Right.
Nevertheless, understand again that it's really not about money being the only representation of abundance. When you learn, I'm just going to put it very succinctly, when you learn to appreciate yourselves more, you will appreciate on all levels of your society. And the idea of money, while being a valid symbol in your society of abundance, isn't the only one. So when you open the door to all the ways in which abundance can come to you, which is simply, again, the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, and not insist that it can only be represented in one form, such as money, then all the ways in which abundance can flow to you will flow. When it needs to be money, it will be. When it doesn't, it won't. So the idea is to allow the adjustments to be made automatically by simply being in the flow of yourself, appreciating your own value, valuing yourself, and thus then your life will reflect that value in all the ways that are still relevant through the changes that your society may be going through. So even if one form of a representation of abundance no longer exists or ceases to be relevant, other forms will come in, and you don't have to care or worry what those forms will be. As long as you are simply being the state of being that is representative of your true valuation, then whatever form at that moment happens to be the abundance of the day symbol will be the symbol that will flow to you if it is representative of the path of least resistance. Do you follow this concept?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
As to your first question, first of all, you're bilocating all the time. Again, remember, you're shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times per second. But we know what you mean. But we have a question for you first.
Okay.
Is learning to do that in the way that you meant it relevant for your life?
Yes, I want to go visit my children in another state without getting on an airplane. I just want to pop into their room and be with them in more than just consciousness.
Why?
So I can have more of the experience I love to have with them.
Why do you think that is what the result would be?
Because when I'm physically with them, I get to kiss them, and when I'm in Sedona, I don't.
And yet you do have the capacity to go and visit in some way, shape, or form, yes?
In a slow way, shape, or form.
Why are you deeming it to be slow instead of appropriate or relevant? Do you remember us saying the journey is the destination? Do you not believe that?
Yes.
Then why not allow yourself to understand that the journey is part of the visit, and that what happens to you during that journey actually creates a difference in terms of the interaction that occurs between you when you actually make physical contact?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes, it does. And all you needed to do to allow it to make sense was use your imagination to come up with a similar definition instead of the definition you were attaching to the idea of the way it's happening, which you see as an impediment instead of what needs to be. If there is an absolute reason and need that serves you best for you to suddenly teleport there, believe me, nothing will stop you. So, with the idea in mind that you're willing and open to allowing that to occur when it is relevant for all concerned, not just your wants, yes? When it's relevant for all concerned, nothing will stop it. In the meantime, allow yourself to do the best you can with whatever is available to you as the path of least resistance, knowing that if there is immediately any need or any reason that is relevant for you to accelerate that process in whatever way, shape, or form works best for all concerned, it will automatically happen. You understand? But relaxing into the idea that what is happening is what needs to happen and will actually enrich what needs to happen, and defining it that way will allow you the best opportunity to allow anything else that needs to happen more quickly. Because you cannot allow something to change if you don't fully appreciate and use what you already have. Because every moment is a stepping stone to the next. And if you invalidate the stepping stone you're on, how can you possibly step off of it to the next stone? You understand? This is the way to understand the structure of existence. And when you start defining it that way, you'll see it that way, and you will fully appreciate the journey in whatever form it comes. You follow?
So moving into the fourth dimension is
Fourth density.
Fourth density.
You're already in the fourth
Yes.
dimension.
So moving-
3 of space, 1 of time.
So
Density and dimension are different. Dimension, in a sense, can have many densities. Dimension is like a country. Densities are like states within the country.
Okay.
You understand the difference? So you're going from third density to fourth density within fourth dimensional reality.
Okay.
Make sense? All right.
Is bilocating and teleporting something that's going to become available
Yes.
in this density
Yes.
or in the next dimension?
And it is available now, but the idea again is it will become more relevant in the future.
Okay.
So it's not really about is it possible, it's about is it probable, is it relevant to what's going on in the life right now. And so again, that's why we say all you actually need to be is open and willing to allow it to occur when it's relevant for it to occur. And if you know that you're open and willing and not defining it negatively, then it will occur if it needs to. And if it doesn't need to. You understand?
Yep.
What is what is. And the sooner you use what is, the sooner what is can become another what is. The longer you refuse to use what is, the longer the same what is sticks around. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
You understand? All right. Does that help you?
Hi, Bashar.
And are you good day?
Thank you to you as well. I've been having some health issues the last 7 years, and I think I've been making some good progress on it, but I figured I'd get your medical opinion.
I do not give medical opinions.
Your energetic opinion, how about that? Or just your opinion in general.
First of all, on the physiological level, we do not do health readings, nor do we give any kind of real health information in that sense at this point, because we've delivered everything we need to deliver, and therefore, as a reminder, if it's not something that you've already done, the first step physically is to completely and thoroughly as possible detox your body. Once you have done that, whatever symptoms remain are the symptoms you're actually dealing with of a dis-ease, because 80 to 90% of so-called disease symptoms in your society are actually the result of toxicity in your system.
Yes.
So once you detoxify, you'll at least know what you're actually dealing with, and in fact, most of it may actually go away. Energetically, of course, as we have already discussed, you have to start looking at what you're getting out of having the experience, what you are learning that you might otherwise not have learned.
Absolutely. And the last 7 years has been a process of totally detoxing, like taking a magnifying glass to every aspect of my life, relationships, physical environment, food,
All
everything.
right.
And going through and doing my best to figure out what's serving me, what isn't.
All right.
And I do realize that this entire experience, it's sort of like this boot camp to really like set me on the straight and narrow.
All right.
So that I can be capable of more. So I am seeing it as a blessing.
All right.
And after hearing you talk earlier about self-limiting beliefs, like I have felt like I'm blocked, and I learned just minutes ago that like I have that belief that I am blocked and therefore I'm blocked.
Yes.
The core of the question is, so I'm going to continue to do that work on
All right.
beliefs. Is there some sort of toxin in my environment that I'm missing? Because there's like a million different variables, and I'm just curious if anything pops up.
I have one suggestion.
Okay.
Say that in your environment, perhaps there are a dozen variables
Okay.
instead of a million.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that make it feel easier already?
It really does. Thank you.
Remember, pay attention to what comes out of your mouth, because you may be creating way more difficulty in your challenges than you need to, just by the way you're framing the experience or your relationship to it. You follow?
I follow.
So maybe there is a thing that you need to become aware of. It doesn't mean that there are a million things you need to become aware of, because otherwise, don't you feel a little overwhelmed when you say it that way?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's keep it down to manageable levels.
Okay.
This is a good practice for all of you in any challenge that you have. Start with a version of it that's on a manageable level according to your belief system. If you say, there are a million variables here I need to look at, well, you almost don't even want to get off the couch. But if you say, okay, there's one thing perhaps that I could research, I could investigate, I could look at, well, that's manageable. I'll take it a step at a time. I'll start with that. If there's another one, then it'll come at a point and in a way that I can manage that too, because I'll have built on my experience with dealing with the first one. So at least make it in manageable steps, if nothing else. Yes?
Thank you.
Now, in what way has the so-called health issue expressed itself physically?
So some levels of fatigue, but for me it's mostly cognitive, difficulty with memory and concentration. My main complaint, I guess, would be difficulty handling stressful situations. A lot of times my brain will just completely...
I will ask you one physical question.
Absolutely.
You might want to check and see if your electrolytes are depleted.
Thank you.
Yes?
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Will that do for that?
That is a great first step. Thank you.
All right.
Another question on fear versus intuition and being able to differentiate between the two.
You can't tell the difference between fear and intuition?
I mean, most of the time, like they're both voices seemingly in my head, right?
Don't they feel different? Or is it that you have an intuition and then you have a fear about it?
That could very well be the case.
That's different.
Yeah.
You ought to be able to tell the difference between the intuition and the fear that might be a separate experience about the intuition. If you think about it that way, look at it that way, set it up that way, maybe it will be easier for you to suss out what the fear is being generated by, what negative beliefs is generating the fear. Mm-hmm. If you don't assume that it's difficult to tell the difference between fear and intuition, but that you know when you're having an intuition, and then you can recognize when you're having fear about what you're intuiting, that may give you something easier to work with.
Okay.
Thank you. So you're not smashing them together where you can't tell them apart, because that's a definition. Your definition is smashing them together, making it more difficult to tell them apart. So have a definition where you say, no, my intuition is clear when it's happening, but I realize that separately, I'm having a fear reaction to it. Well, now I have something to work with because I can separate the two and see them both clearly for what they are, yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
That does help. One last question.
Yes.
In your previous videos, I've seen people ask questions a couple times about, you can call it the downfall of the financial situation or like the evolution of it.
Yes.
And I'm curious how much cryptocurrency plays into that.
Not much.
Not much?
No.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask a general overall question. Nobody needs to answer, but you can ponder it. In many of these conversations, many of you come up to us and say, well, I've seen you in your previous videos say this. I've seen you in your previous videos say that. How come nobody comes up and says, I've seen you in your future videos say this, and your future videos say this? Let's just let that question sink in.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Okay, so the last speaker actually was really, I have spent the last 7 years changing or transitioning into a different life or avocation as well as vocation.
How exciting!
It has been exciting, and I'm working with people that are suffering through what he's been suffering through.
All right.
Because I too was led there on a couple of different ways, but mine was my cognition.
All right.
having
Maybe the
difficulty.
two of you need to have a conversation by yourselves.
We might.
All right.
So my question, I have two questions. As I'm building my new business, consulting people around nutrition, lifestyle choices,
Yes.
and such. Now, I've been studying really hard, and because I feel
Does
like
it
I have-
hurt?
It does. It hurts
Can
tremendously.
you be studying in a different way that's more exciting for you?
Well, that's not the thing.
Oh.
Maybe I'll get to the point, and then you can say maybe I'm studying too hard.
Well, all right.
So what's been happening to me, one is that as I transition, my business feels like it's really herky-jerky, slow to get really moving. And I keep thinking, well, I've been very aware of how I manifest for 25 years. And
Yes.
when I really want something, it just, boom, it comes into my life.
It's not about what you want.
Um,
It's about what you need.
okay.
And that's where you're getting confused.
Well, can I finish this real quick, and then you can...
I suppose you can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have one-to-one sessions with people, and I talk about their health history, and then I work with the information that comes to me, and I determine, or maybe they have a determination of what's going on. But what ends up happening is at certain points, I will absolutely not be able to draw upon words. I will, and I just, it has really affected my confidence. Like words, I mean, I was talking to somebody about celiac disease, and I couldn't think of the word celiac. I couldn't even think of the word gluten. And I was like, it's just, I get in those moments just stunned, like they're gonna think I'm an idiot. Like I shouldn't even be here. And so my question isn't so much, is it that I have a block, or I think I have a block, or is it two that okay, I've got to back up just a little bit more for one thing. I've had 3 head injuries when I was younger, and I've also had about 4 or 5 spinal injuries from being pretty rough.
How exciting.
It was exciting. But the thing is, I'm wondering, am I having physical things that are starting to present themselves? Hello?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm fascinated.
Okay. So, tell me about your fascination about what's going on for me.
Oh, now you want me to answer you?
Please.
Do you realize I already gave you the answer?
I knew you were going to say that, but I just had to hear you say it.
All right. You're studying incorrectly for you. And that's why you're not knowing what you need to know when you need to know it. So when you find a way to learn what you need to learn in a way that is more enjoyable and exciting for you, you will know everything you need to know when you need to know it. You're pushing yourself in a way that simply doesn't work for you. So stop doing it the way someone else would do it and start learning what you need to learn the way that you really would prefer to do it. Use your imagination and find or create more imaginative, creative, and exciting ways to learn what it is that you actually need to learn. And then, because you're making different kinds of associations in your brain through having a different experience of learning those things, in a sense, they will stick. You'll know what you need to know because you'll have different associations to the information than the associations you're making now, which don't work for the way in which you actually best absorb information based on the ways you're changing in life.
So are you saying, I mean, in these moments when I'm completely drawing a blank on words that I know, that I've been over, you're saying those two are correlated?
Yes.
Even
Because
though-
when you force yourself to learn things in a way that doesn't work for you, one of the side effects is forgetting what you already know. That's what happens. You are not using the right technique, and therefore the whole thing is starting to go blank. To illustrate to you that you're not using the technique that's correct for you. So it will erase more and more and more until you actually start using the technique that is actually more exciting for you to absorb what you need. Then you'll know what you need to know.
So, in what are...
Well, what way are you doing now? What way are you studying now?
Well, right now, my wife and I have we're putting together a program, so a modular program using the internet, and we're basically creating it as we go. So it's like, basically we talk to each other, what are you going to be talking about? I tell her, my wife, what I'm going to be talking about, and she says, okay, then what we need to write about this, whatever this is, and then I just go in and I start free-flowing with my writing of how I understand it, and then we hand it back and forth.
Yes.
And revise it with each other, and then...
May I ask you a question?
You just did.
Thank you. You actually learned something. There is hope for you yet. Is that the way you actually would prefer to go about doing it? Is that the most exciting way you could be doing it for you?
Okay, so that's one of the other way I learn is that I've been in a deep dive with some major teachers, and their way is completely different. They present, I listen, and I listen again, and I listen again, and I listen again. But the way we're actually doing it does help me because it makes me think and draw upon...
All right, good start. Is it enough? Is there some other thing you would like to add, some other way you would like to go about it that would make it even more exciting? Maybe more interactive, more associative?
What really excites me is when I talk in front of, I went and I gave a couple presentations at a local high school, and that really excited me. And I want to be more speaking.
All right. So your intuition may be guiding you. So here's another question. When you speak that way, do you forget things?
No, my passion takes over and it just
Stop.
comes out.
Then you have your answer.
Okay.
When you come from that energy, you don't forget. You know what you need to know. That's the energy to come from in all of the ways in which you transmit that information.
I knew that.
Did you?
No, I did, but I wanted to hear you say it.
All right, well, I knew you knew that, and I knew you wanted to hear me say it. So now we have both accomplished exactly what we each set out to do. Congratulations to both of us.
Thank you. Can I ask you one more thing? After this? After that? Okay, so one of the passions that I've been kind of kindling or putting on the back burner and wanting to pursue is astral travel. And I'm just wanting to know, as far as, do you have any suggestions in terms of really, I mean, I've got books that I'm reading and such, but do you have any...
Right now, I would suggest you keep your feet on the ground. You get more used to using the energy that you use in all areas of your life that you use when you speak. And we'll see what happens.
Okay.